Welcome everybody to a Saturday edition of Art and Stuff. I'm your sociably, dashingly, distractingly beautiful, suave and sassy, smooth as ice co-host, Sean Aaron. And with me as always is my brother in art, Boom.
I'm the very sexy, attractive, distinguished, always fucking narcissistic, but never vain. Never vain. Joseph Michael Sontag, or some call me Joe M. Sontag, or as the Pope likes to call me, JMS.
Very cool. Well, we have a great show for you today. We have one of my closest friends, a family member, if you say, Alex Rivera, also known as Playful Gorilla.
Playful Gorilla. There we go.
Who are you talking about? The illustrious guest? Are you talking about the ever awesome, ever playful gorilla? Is that who you talk about?
That's who I am talking about.
My man. I appreciate it.
How you doing? Thank you for coming on. Thank you for understanding rescheduling because Brett Booth from yesterday, which was an amazing show, and thank you.
Oh no, man, dude, I'm in. You know me, dude. Like I'm like water. That's what Bruce Lee said. But still, I'm like water. I'm like water. Hey, you know what I mean? I'm good. This is fun. This is gonna be a good time. Don't mind me. I'm a little tired. But we're good. We're good because this is gonna get fixed in a couple minutes. We're good.
Don't worry, I didn't put my moisture on today, so I understand.
So what's up, gentlemen?
Not much. Just doing the creativeness. Just we're going through the gears of everything that's going on. We all have our shit going on, and we're all producing our own product. And as unfortunate of a time that we are in, we're in a renaissance. And I think we're all taking it for what it is and hopefully bettering each other for it. Not just as artists, but as brothers in arts and all that spiel.
I like that. I like the renaissance feel. That's a good way to put it, man. Like, I think if you as an artist in these times aren't taking full advantage of the situation, you're missing out, man. You're missing out. Like this is it may suck. This the world is fucking crumbling around us. But that's the one thing that we have to remind ourselves, man, is that we're artists at the end of the day. We have a voice, we have something to say, and this is the time to kind of reconnect with that and remind ourselves, man, like, it's more than just, it's more than just a business. It's a livelihood. It's art, man.
Lifestyle.
It's a lifestyle.
It's art and stuff.
Art and stuff. That's right.
Hold on. So this art and stuff, right? This is cool. Who came up with it? Because this is amazing.
The name was all Sean. Yeah, absolutely. The name was all Sean. You
did the hard work, right, Joe? You did the hard work. He just kind of just, hey.
Yes. From Jump Street, when he's like, let's do a show. And I'm like, I'm with the shits, but you set it up and I'll be there. Because whatever. No, because we do the arts, we fancy, and like it just makes fun of my accent. So it's kind of cool. Art and stuff.
By the way, is it really fucked up? I've never can I curse on this, John? I don't know.
Curse away, bro.
Fuck yeah.
You better not, you cunt.
So here's the thing, Sean. Where the fuck does the accent come from? I never asked you this fucking question. I've known you for such a goddamn long time. I'm like, wait a minute. This dude is half Mexican.
Jersey. Quarter
Jersey,
on paper.
And sounds like you from Boston. How does that fucking work?
Don't you say that. Don't you
Boston.
dare say
Boston.
Oh man.
Boston. Oh. Go the yard. Mark Wahlberg. No, are you kidding me? This is 201 straight up. Bergen County, baby.
All right.
Bergen County. I bleed blue. Yankees.
Apparently Bergen County is a bunch of Bostonians, but it's okay. So I'll let it slide.
I'm a Yankees fan. I bleed blue.
Ugh.
Don't get me started, Philly. Don't get me started, Philly.
Fucking Yankees.
You from where's Bergen? North Jersey?
Yeah, right outside Manhattan.
That makes sense.
Like right next to Patterson and Paramus, Old Peas. So it's like good area, bad area. Good area, bad area.
Yankees. Just throwing it out there.
Yeah. All right, filthy Philly. Who eats their own shit after a parade?
Whoa.
Winners.
Whoa.
Fucking winners.
I'll work
That was a
with
good
that.
response. I wouldn't
I'll,
have had a response to that.
I'll spread that rumor for sure.
All I know, it wasn't me. That's all I fucking know. We ate a lot of shit for years. I'm not physically fucking doing it when we win. Fuck that.
Yeah. So,
yeah,
Alex, can we get your origin story? How did Playful Gorilla be? Where did you come from? What's your inspiration? And all that jazz.
Right. Yeah, and how did you get Playful Gorilla? For me, I'm really ever since Sean was like, "Hey, we gotta bring my boy Alex on, aka Playful Gorilla," and I was like, it's an interesting nickname you got there.
He's known everywhere. I've made connections in Hawaii because of this gentleman.
No shit.
I'm like, do you know Playful Gorilla? And their eyes light up like they just got the first part on.
Yeah,
like when you first find boobs, like he loves everywhere.
Shout out to 7 Sketches out in Hawaii and fucking Hot Actor and motherfucking Red Naki, all you guys, all the Hawaiian fucking woes. All you guys, shout out to these motherfuckers. These are good dudes. Yeah. All right. So, all right. How can I start? So there's this planet called Krypton, right? And when I was born, no fuck.
I was about to say, I think I've heard this one before.
I think I heard this shit.
Copyrighted.
So there was this radioactive spider, right? And then what happened was,
no,
that's
much more original.
No, man. Like, listen, damn, this is interesting. All right, so I started my career here in Philly at Penn State trying to be a fucking industrial engineer, right? Realized real quick that shit was not for me. Well, there was one class, mind you, I failed out fucking terribly, like horrifically. But there was one class.
At least you put your all into failing. That's all that matters.
Hey, when I tell you I left Penn State with a 1.1 GPA, trust me, it was not good. The only saving grace, the only A I ever got at Penn State was a CAD class. It was my first introduction to fucking computer generated design, right? So it's like I build a fucking spring, like a legit fucking spring, but mathematically, like with fucking points in space and fucking like it was craziness, right? But it was the most fun shit I was doing at that school. So then I fucking decided to like drop out, and I didn't tell my parents, and that was fun. So I started working like 3 or 4 jobs, and it was never at the house. That's where the hustle comes from, man. Like I was always trying to get some money somewhere, and so what happened was my mom was like. My papa was like, "Hey, how's school?" About a couple months later, I'm like, "Yeah, what happened was I dropped out a couple months ago." Man, tables were flipped, things got out of hand, like it just got nuts. Like my dad didn't talk to me the whole entire summer. My mom was like,
"Damn,
you need to like go back and you need to finish college." Like that's all he gives a damn about. I was like, "Mom, I'm not an engineer. Like it's not in me. Like it's not like I'm pretty smart, but it wasn't for me." I remember seeing like a job fair, and I went in and everybody saw me, man, this isn't me, this isn't working. So I ended up, I was like, fine, you want me to go back to school? Fantastic. I'm like, I'm leaving Philly though. Fuck this. I'm not doing this. My brother had gone down to Florida for school. So I'm like, all right, I'm gonna go to Florida. Fuck it. I'm gonna follow him and see what he did. So I go down there, I'm like, well, where in Florida do I fucking want to live? Fucking looked at him like, oh shit, Miami. I was like, fuck yeah, I'm gonna go to Miami. So I fucking, at the time, Google wasn't even around. Like it was like Ask Jeeves or some shit, right?
Right,
so
yeah.
I'm like, art school, Miami. Dude, the first thing that popped up was this school called the International Fine Arts College. Bro, I didn't send a portfolio. I didn't send shit. I sent a $90 check and an application. 2 weeks later, I was accepted. I was like, oh, shit. Bro, I ain't gonna lie to you, and this is a confession only a very few people know. I didn't even know. So it was an animation course, right? It's an animation degree. I didn't even know. I thought it was like traditional fucking animation. Like I was just going down there just fluke. I get down there and it's all like it's a computer animation course. Like, dude, that's how legit. I didn't even know what the fuck was going on. Right. So I get down there and I'm like, wait, computer animation, like the fucking CAD John I did? I was like, oh shit, okay. Bro, I remember buying a fucking computer. I bought a fucking Apple because I'm thinking, what's the best fucking computer you got? I'm gonna get a fucking Apple. I get down there. I'm the only motherfucker with a goddamn Apple. I didn't even know how to turn this motherfucker on, bro. I set it up. I'm like, there's no on button on this shit. What the fuck? So I linked up with my now homies, and I was like, look, I got this machine. I don't know what the fuck I'm doing. My soon-to-be roommate fucking came up. He's, oh yeah, that's a fucking G4, blah blah blah. I got a G3, blah blah blah. He fucking showed me everything. once I took my first course, and it was like an introduction to animation, and it was all about like Pixar and fucking shit like that, my fucking mind just fucking exploded. I'm like, wait, that's what I'm fucking here for? Fuck, this is dope. And
that shit would be really, really cool. That'd be awesome, man.
Dude, let me tell you, I ended up graduating with a Bachelor of Fine Arts in Computer Animation. So that was my first passion, my first
nice.
Like I animated the shit out of all kinds of crazy shit. Like I had stupid little things on TV and stuff like that. Like shout out to Third Eye Design out in Miami. They gave me a fucking chance without fucking, knowing anything. But I remember me and my boys, shout out to Rob and Tyler, we set a record at that school for the first fully animated short that came out for graduation. So it's like we're the first one to do a full fucking animation. Like everybody, like it was legit. Like I had such a great time in my life, and it changed my life so profoundly. Like I learned the love of animation. I learned the love of art, which is I know it's weird. I always doodled as a kid. Like I never did anything professionally, right? My pop was always like, you're not gonna make money with a pencil and paper. Like, stop playing. Like, you go be an engineer. Like, he was always pushing me away from the arts. And that down in Miami, I got that connection of like, the things I see in movies and TV and books. Like, there's somebody behind it. There's somebody that's concepting this. There's somebody's ideas and concepts that are being produced and turned into the shit that we see every day. And it clicked, man. For me, it like profoundly, utterly and deeply changed me. So I graduated college. I stayed down in Florida. I started working, anywhere. Like I did all kinds of fucking weird shit while I was doing that. I refused to come back home. I was like, I'm gonna make this happen no matter what. Dude, I there's legit times I was homeless for a little bit. Like I slept in my car a fucking couple of times. Like I refused to fucking quit. I have my fucking computer wherever I could plug that motherfucker in. I'm out there fucking, like thank God for the internet, because that shit saved my life. And so I did a bunch of odd jobs here. I animated. I learned how to use Flash. I don't know if you guys remember Flash. It was old John. But I learned how to animate in 2D so that I can get more jobs. That led to my first big gig as a government contractor. So anyway, I was just kind of bouncing around, and I was always chasing a dollar, right? That was the biggest thing. That was I think my biggest fuck up in my whole career is that I never focus on me. So here I am, just working for 9 to 5, just bullshit, fucking just random government work. And I work with fucking cool planes and all kinds of shit. I design, the fucking manuals for pilots and the maintenance guys. Like it was cool. And I always freelanced. I always had something on the side. No matter what I did as a 9 to 5, I always had my clients. I always did some type of animations. Then I had kids, and I was like, that was the best fucking thing that could ever happen to me, to be quite honest. So I'm sitting there, and you could ask the wife, like I would be in front of a machine 18 hours straight just animating something. Well, when the kids were born, my first one was born, I said, man, I don't want to take this time away from them. So I kind of fell back a little bit, and we moved back to Philly at that time. So my firstborn was born here in Philly. I was in a contract out in California, and we flew back when he was born. Like it was a crazy kind of time in my life. Then I started working at the most, how can I I don't want to offend, but it was the least creative job I've ever had. Right. So I dealt with a lot of pharmaceutical companies doing like brand guidelines. I learned all that shit, but it was just like they already knew what they wanted, and they just handed it to you, and you just had it was fucking. I did that for a long time, and that at that point, that's when I started losing my mind a little bit. And my wife is like, yo, you need to do something. Like you need to do something creative. Like you need to fucking because I started slow. Because at that time when I did sign up with them, I promised the owner of the company to stop doing freelancing altogether, because he never hired freelancers, and it was a crazy fucking time in my life, and it was the first time I fucking did that, and never again will I fucking ever do that shit, let me tell you. So I dropped all my clients, and now I'm just doing a 9 to 5 that I didn't have an outlet in. My moniker when I was doing all my freelance gigs had my name attached. It was Rivera3D.com. That was my shit. No longer exists, but it was my last name, 3D. That's what I did, blah blah blah. And it fell to the wayside. Like I lost all my clients, and I got to a point, man, I was fucking depressed, bro. I was legit depressed. Here I am. I'm sitting like, man, like fuck, like give me a fucking chance. Like if given the goddamn chance, I can fucking beast out. But I felt like nobody ever gave me a fucking chance. Like I was always looked over, and for whatever fucking reason.
Right.
But you know what I'm saying. I remember when I was doing my gig in California.
It's okay. You're in a group of Latinos, so we understand.
Yeah, like, yo, I'm gonna tell you. I'm a side note on that fucking government job, and here I don't give a fuck if I offend them or not. Go fuck yourself, because I was told to my face I was making 38 grand a year. Everybody all of a sudden got fucking raises, right, all around me. And I went to my fucking my boss, and I'm like, hey man, can you just give me a raise? I want to be at 40. I want to just say that I did something fucking. I was told to my face, you will never make that type of money. I'm like,
you can blow me.
What? So then that's when I got my fucking contract out in California, and I went for 1 fucking week on my first contract. I double dip. I took vacation from my fucking company, went out there. I got paid $120 an hour for fucking, I don't know, it's like 150 fucking hours that week or whatever.
Holy shit.
It was a round the clock fucking gig. I come back and I'm like, hey, listen, I need that raise. And that's when he was like, you will never make that kind of money. Sitting with a fucking check in my pocket, just burning a hole. I'm like, bitch, here's my 2 weeks. I was fucking out. I was like, yo, I never again will I allow anybody to fucking tell me that shit. Like, go fuck yourself. And don't ever, if you're listening, don't ever fucking let anybody, if you know your fucking worth, fuck them and go get that shit. Anyway, back to the.
That's a great statement.
Yeah. Dude, these are the kind of shit that always stick in my head and stick in my mind. So I'm sitting here now. I did that contract out in California, and I met a bunch of awesome dudes. They worked in Hollywood. Like, these were legit motherfuckers. Like, I don't know how the fuck I got in there. Like, I was working with the dudes that were like, cutting fucking Incredible Hulk together and fucking, rotocasting fucking all the fucking, like, Thor. It was just mind blowing. I was in a legit studio with legit animators from fucking Hollywood with fucking legit. Wow. These guys were fucking legit, and I will always forever be grateful for those motherfuckers, because they kind of showed me that there's so much more to this world than this. So I come back to Philly. I'm at this fucking job. I'm fucking just coño. Like, what the fuck, man? And so one of my boys from the Cali job hits me up. He's like, yo, I got these tickets to a Maya users meeting group. Now, Maya is the 3D package that I learned. That's the shit that I use today. That's my 3D package. That's what I fucking sculpt, animate everything with. And at the time, like I said, I wasn't even using it at that job. So I go back out there. He's like, yeah, it's a meeting, and basically Blue Sky, the big studio, they did Rio and all the fucking yeah.
I think Jake Parker worked for them.
I believe so.
Yeah.
So I go there and I'm like, all right, it's in New York. So I take a trip up to New York. It's no big deal. I wasn't thinking anything of it. It was just to fucking blow some steam off, blah, blah, blah. And there was a presentation. The first presentation was the character animators from Rio, the movie. They were showing how the birds were rigged. And I'm sitting there just like, oh man, this is fucking great. And I was like, why the fuck am I not doing it? Yeah, dude, I was fucking geeking the fuck out. Like, it was, dude, I was like, so I'm sitting there like, yo, I was kind of like, I was inspired again. I'm like, this is fucking dope. I gotta go home and do something. But then all of a sudden, another presenter comes up, the second half of these presentations. Shout out to motherfucking Steve Takowski. So Steve Takowski is an animator who worked for Blue Sky, okay, who also freelances on the side, who also just had a kid. So now this dude is talking, like, he's telling his story. He's like, yeah, I couldn't animate as much as my kid, and I really want to spend time with him. And I'm like, damn, that's me. That's my fucking story. That's it. That's my backstory. I'm a frustrated artist who has this skill set and this talent, but isn't utilizing it at all. Instead, I'm fucking doing fucking logos for motherfucking Viagra pills and shit. It was fucking stupid. Like, it was dumb as shit. And I'm sitting there, he's going off, and he's like, yeah, so what I want to present is, how I do my vinyl toys. And I'm like, a vinyl toy? What the fuck is a vinyl toy? Right? So he goes, everything I do for animation, I sculpt, I rig, I pose. He goes, instead of animating, I started learning 3D prototyping and 3D printing. And I'm like, what the fuck is 3D prototyping and 3D printing? Like, what is happening here? Like, dude, like, when I tell you, my fucking entire world was fucking turned upside down. And I'm sitting there like a fucking little girl, like, oh my God, what is this? And he's showing prototypes. And I handmade this, and then I tweaked it, and this is one of the prototypes, and then this, that, and then, these are the 3D prints that I use to fucking make the masters for the fucking, and he just went down. Again, animator, frustrated, freelancing, has a kid, fucking learn how to 3D print and turn his fucking characters into real fucking life fucking toys. And I said, where the hell has this been my whole life? I swear to God, that day, I walked up to him afterwards and he's like, hey man, what's your, I'll follow you, what's your Twitter account? But I'm like, what the fuck is Twitter? What? Dude, that night, fucking Playful Gorilla was born. That is
no shit.
The night. So shout out to Steve Takowski. I still have a bunch of his fucking toys. Actually, if you see that little red box right there, that's a Steve. Actually, that's a night box. Never mind. Where's my fucking? Anyway, I got a ton of them all over the place. They're just all around the office. But that night, that was the fucking night where he gave me some of the best advice I've ever had in my life. And he goes, we're all artists. He goes, you probably have talent. I have talent. He goes, but what a lot of artists forget is that you need to find your voice, find your style. And I'm like, okay, because you can take anything. You can start off doing fan art and just fucking take what people know, but present it in a different fashion. Present it in a fashion that they have never seen before. That fucking shit stuck with me the entire fucking time. Because you gotta understand, up to that point, I was a chameleon. I can create shit for other people, no problem. That was my shit. Like I went in, what style do you need? Blah blah blah. This is, dude. I offer agency style fucking design work even to today. I'm very keen to listening to people. Like you really have to listen to folks to understand what they want. The minute you do that, presenting that piece of artwork that they do, that's where I made my mark. But that day was the first day I'm realizing, like, I don't have a voice. I don't have a style. I don't have anything. Like, I legit have nothing, but I know what I want. I want to make toys. Like, I know that now. Like, I know that without a fucking doubt. Like, I have all these characters and all these stories in my fucking head that I've created that I've never had a chance to fucking realize. So that was 7 years ago, maybe this year.
Wow.
And I went on a mission. I sat back. I was like, fuck it. Fuck the computer. Fuck everything. I took a fucking piece of paper and pencil and I just started fucking sketching. That's when I first launched my IG account, when I first launched the fucking Instagram, Facebook, the whole nine. I had a social presence. And I just started. I just started fucking sketching and I didn't know what to do with it. I just wanted to find my voice. What did I feel comfortable with? What do I like? What was me? And I'm sitting there and I'm like, well, I don't want to use my name because I think this what I'm trying to create here is more than just me. It's my world, it's my story, it's my fucking characters, and let them breathe freely. And I remember coming home that day, and I sat there and I told my wife, I'm like, babe, I know what I want to do. Like I got it. It's here. And I was like, but I don't want to use Rivera 3D. I think this is different. This is a different path and this is a different thing. And she just sat there. She's like, yeah, like, well, what do you want to name it? I'm like, I don't know. I say, but I want it to be something that is memorable. I want it to be something that doesn't attach me to it, right? My stigma, whatever I did before, whatever, my chameleon past, right? And she sat there. She's like, well, what do you think? And I'm like, I went back to that idea of like, people not giving me a chance, right? That if given the fucking opportunity, I will beast the fuck out. I will fucking, I know I haven't proven it. I know I don't have a fucking background, but I know I have the potential, right? And I'm like, I want to be like Sleeping Giant so I started Googling all these things and these are just already like legit like companies. I'm like, fuck, this is stupid. And she goes, well, you're like a big old fucking like gorilla. You're my gorilla. Like, why don't you do with something like an animal or gorilla? I'm like, yeah, that's kind of cool, babe. But like, I don't want to come off as like mean or like, that's not what I'm trying to get at. And she's like, yeah, you're very fucking playful. And I'm like, what did you just say? What did you say? And that's it. She coined the fucking name and I've never looked back. And I got a little tidbit here, a little insider kind of thing. So my logo, Playful Gorilla, and nobody ever asked, but it's fucking cool. There's a backwards R in it. That backwards R is an ode to my old Rivera 3D, John. So if you find old shit for me back in the day, that backwards R comes from fucking Rivera 3D. So Playful Gorilla, was born that weekend, and we never ever look back. Yeah, there it is. If you can
shit.
Yep.
See, again, I'm dyslexic. If you didn't tell me that,
you didn't notice
I
that. You
wouldn't
didn't
know.
notice that.
Like I said,
I love it,
makes
Sean.
sense.
That's awesome.
I think I've showed it. I think I've told this to 2 people. So this is to me, like, because like I've always said, like I always wanted to tie everything together, and like I said, I've been working backwards. So what I realized real quick was, to make a fucking vinyl toy is expensive as shit, right? And my broke ass, I'm like, yo, shit, how the hell am I gonna do this? So, and again, like, if you go on my feed until the fucking somebody takes the feed away, you go way back to the beginning, like, it's all sketches, it's all kind of just me finding a voice. And what happened was, I was like, okay, if I can afford a production run right now, I can't do it. I was like, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna be a fucking student. I'm gonna be the best fucking student I could fucking possibly be. And I went back. I hit up all the cons. Like, that's when I first went to my first New York Comic Con, and I was just exposed to this world that I just never fucking knew before, man. Like, it wasn't in what, my circle of friends and shit. And I just sat back, man, and I learned. I taught myself how to mold, cast. I went back to analog shit. I started sculpting, with clay, and I just learned everything to start doing smaller runs, right? So to kind of teach myself how everybody else does it, and then I can take this and run with it. So now I can start. So we usually, when you do a toy, you drop a toy, and then you do like colorways, right? Like, here's the blank toy, and this is what you can do with it. Well, I did it backwards. I started showing people like illustrations in a certain style, right? A big headache kind of fucking. There's a unique shape to what I do, and I did it on purpose. The purpose was, eventually one day I'm gonna have a library of designs that now you can show on the platform that I drop. So I did it backwards.
Got you.
Personally, I got stuck in this like fucking loop, because life fucking really knows how to throw you fucking, shit down your fucking pipe. And every time I thought I was ahead, I was like, okay, I got a little bit of money, I can start, and I'm gonna go ahead and make my first investment. Nope, the fucking kitchen explodes, the fucking bathroom explodes, the car gets stolen, fucking, it's all kinds of crazy shit. Unfortunately, what happened for me was that corporate job, I got laid off. And at that time, that's when I was in my first kind of like finding myself, and I started doing shows, and I started curating shows. Yeah. This is fucking fun. Then I got laid off, and I'm like, fuck, I gotta work. Like, there's no way I can afford this. So I started working, and I started at a 3D printing company. So I learned fucking 3D. Nice. And I was in. I'm like, this is it. That's when I fucking first dropped my first 3D printed toy. This is a cast of it, but it's the baby Rilla right there. And,
hold on, yeah, there we go.
So that was the first kind of that was kind of like made from what I learned at the new job.
Nice.
Unfortunately, man, that was very short lived, and a year and a half later, I was laid off again. So that was a back-to-back layoff after 12 plus years of working. It was detrimental, man. And at that point, I'm like, fuck this. I can imagine. I think I got this. Like, at that point, I had a small following. I had done a couple shows. Like, I had something going on. That's when I hit the con circuit heavy. Dude, I went from doing 1 or 2 shows a year to fucking 40 plus. Like, I was on the fucking road every fucking day. And that's kind of where, I linked up with Sean, and I linked up with all the fucking crew, because it was a nonstop hustle, man. Like, every weekend that I could put my artwork or myself or something somewhere, I was there. I had no choice. Like, I had to survive. You know what I mean? That was my only income. With 2 kids, a couple cars, fucking house. Like, it's crazy. So I just
gotta pay the bills. You gotta find the means to do it.
You have to find it, and there's nothing that could hold. Listen, if I survived, don't get it wrong. Like, that fucking plane, by the time I ended my little run, like, it had no wings, no engine, but I landed that bitch. You know what I'm saying? And in the course of 5 years, I was on the road, bro. Like 4 to 5 years, I was hitting the road like. Man, ask Bun. You know Bun. Like, I remember doing a fucking 30 plus.
Shout out to Bun.
Shout out to Bun. We remember doing
funny guy, very quiet in his own funniness. I'm like, that was funny.
Because hustlers move in silence, and that motherfucker is one of the biggest hustlers I know. And
hard facts.
Like, that oof. I remember sitting in a car for fucking 30 hours with the dude to get to fucking San Antonio, and I picked this dude brain.
That's a long ways.
And it was just like, yo, fuck, this is fucking wild. So, listen, it's been a hell of a ride. Again, like I'm on a different mission. Like, you know, I feel like I haven't kind of cracked into the actual industry, but my dream was realized last year with that sucker right there on the fucking screen.
Okay, nice.
So this one here is, how can I explain this? It's the first major vinyl production that is legit my design with my name on it, with my fucking elements, my colorway. Like this is a brainchild of mine.
Nice.
And shout out to fucking Boys and shout out to motherfucking Quicks, the big dog who fucking believed in me and said, let's fucking make this happen. I designed the fucking helmet for him. It's one of his characters that I just redesigned, all gorillaed out. That went from a fucking concept and a sticker to that you see there. And since we've dropped 4 different colorways, so you have the black, green and white, the black and green one. We have a Boba Fett colorway. Sorry, 5, because there's a black and white one, and then there's a dragon, like a Bruce Lee fucking yellow and black John that's just dropped. You know, so shout out to that team that fucking just believed in me, and fucking there it is. And you know, shout out to people like Benny Klein from Tenacious Toys, because you know, there was a toy that was produced based off the logo that I created him. So like there's certain things, like he was the first credit I ever got. You know what I'm saying? Like he gave me credit on the fucking box and was like, yo, but you know, the big homie Nemo fucking sculpted it out, which is fucking bananas. So he took my fucking design. So I have my hands in a little, you know, couple things, but this is like the biggest release that I was a part of, and that truly connects me to a toy, right?
That's awesome, man.
Yeah, dude, it's been absolutely just
well deserved. Well deserved. Nobody deserves it more than you. That's when you broke the news to me. Like I was just like, you motherfucker, good for you. Good for you. You know,
just understand that's where it comes from, man. It comes from a fucking, you know, half a decade of fucking just a lot of fucking L's, a lot of fucking hurdles.
You got to put the work in. People don't realize it's not easy. It's not overnight. It's rare if it is, but like the overnight is 10 years of doing this.
That's
even
it.
More or less. You know, you just got to put the work in.
That's
like
it.
Again, you're the Jay-Z of the family. You know, and I will say that to the day I die. You know, we can't stop your hustle. I'm trying to take tricks from you. I don't know if I'm doing it, okay? But,
I try teaching these because they'll see me. Because look, there's a key to these cons, right? Like you gotta understand who the audience is. You gotta understand what they want. You give them what they want. Like it's hard. Like I see my indie dudes struggling, trying to put it out there. Like some of them are fucking successes, and those are the ones that I'm fucking like, yo, fuck yeah. But you know, for me, it was the cons for me have always been about providing for the family. So that I took a lot of shit because I did fan art. I did a shit ton of fan art. That's all I did for a long time because I know that I could sell fan art. You know, it's a new take on your favorite fucking, you know, piece. Like everybody does Deadpool. Well, let me do Deadpool in my style, and you've never seen that before. You know, so
right. Yeah, exactly.
It was an easy sell, and it gave me a huge following. Shout out to everybody who fucking, you know, still fucking supports me from the cons, and you know, still to this day fucking request commissions. Like I have a stack of fucking commissions sitting here on my desk just ready to fucking crank out.
Nice.
But you know, I've been very fortunate, but it comes from that, right? Like I learned from the masters, man. Like I've learned from those guys that were in the fucking, you know, hustling out there and seeing what they do. And, you know, if at the end of the day, I had to depend on that income that came that weekend, and that's it. Like I had to make sure I prepared myself to the fullest, right? So you offered fucking everything. You offered something from fucking $1 to fucking $500 and everything in between. And you just, you know, I learned how to utilize and take the style that I created, make it something that I can actually turn over pretty quickly so that I can crank out a ton of content. Right. So I'm able to crank out a bunch of content and present it. And I was doing, like, I was on the road on a weekend. I came home Monday. I banged out another new couple designs. I'm fucking printed it Wednesday, Thursday, got in the car on Friday and took off again. Like that was life for 4 or 5 years, man.
Right.
Yeah, so that's a long ass origin story, but there it is.
That's a beautiful story.
I was saying that was very well done. Very, very well done. I'm just trying to look through some of your pictures here and bring up some interesting.
So there's a ton of shit in there.
I was just gonna say, yeah, like I was kind of getting lost when you guys were talking. Just
yeah, let me get into how Alex and I met. All right?
Yeah.
So I'm in Philly, 2015. My buddy Rob, he hit me up. He's like, I'm gonna be a guest at Wizard World Philly. Would you mind coming down and give me a hand with my lines?
Oh, wait, hold on. Could you explain to people who the fuck my buddy Rob is?
Yeah,
Rob
which
Liefeld?
Rob are we talking about?
No, he's being very coy. Don't.
I know. He just says that all the time. He's just like, yeah, my buddy Rob. You know, he doesn't drop the last name or anything. You know, like everyone's supposed to know.
Do it,
bastard.
All right. So my guy Rob Liefeld.
There you go. There you go.
Look, I'm blessed. Look, I'll tell you from Jump Street. They say you should never meet your idols. Fuck that. Like, not only is he, he's a great friend. He's had my back. I will go to war for that man.
Shout out to Rob.
Shout out to Rob. Damn right.
He's a great, very blessed. Just as a friend and a human being, one of the best I've ever had to be a part. You know.
That's awesome.
And no, it's a blessing. And he's like, I'm going to be in Philly. Can you come down and give me a hand with the lines? And I've given him a hand here and there, like New York, different shows, just hanging out, whatever. So I'm there for the weekend, and we're working. Like, his lines are ridiculous. You've seen this. You've seen them many of times. You were on them. And, you know, like, you get people, like, not to come off rude or any way formalist. You get people like, can you show him this? I got this. Can he sign this? I'm like, well, here's his menu. If you want him to sign something, you know, like, I can't give him anything. You know, it's not on me. I tell everybody I'm just his friend. I'm giving him a hand. So Alex and Mickey show up, and these two goons are like, we got this big stand. It was like Baymax Deadpool, right?
It was Mickey's Baymax as Deadpool. The giant fucking like 4
huge
foot
life size, like the size of the banner at least, you know, like, and it was awesome. But like, I'm like, I don't think I can make this happen, guys. And
it's like,
you know,
dude, what are you talking? No, this is not gonna happen.
Who are you? Who are you
guys?
Did you tickle my balls yet? Like, what you didn't kiss the taint.
Shout out to Mickey and that's cartoons.
Shout out to Mickey.
He would have tickled your balls, just FYI.
Well, now that I know, you know.
Oh, that's good to know, right? Yeah.
Yeah. We'll have to have him on, definitely. I love that man. He's so funny. So I'm like, guys, I don't know if I can make this happen. But they stood online. They got what they wanted signed. You know, they respectfully did the whole process. Fast forward 2 years to Wizard World Philly, 2017. I go down just to hang out with Mark Polton, Enrico Enrico, I always fuck up your last name, but I love you. Rob was the guest of honor there. So, like, they gave him... Who's the guy that was in OJ's pool house when OJ killed
Cate.
Yeah, he was like the DJ or like the guy, like,
weird, dude. I remember watching him, like, is that Kato? Oh,
yeah, he still looks young.
It was weird.
Like
a lot of work.
Copic marker. Yeah. Oh yeah. So I go down there and I'm rocking my NYHC Hardcore Comics T-shirt like I always do. Shout out to Lee and Debo the Pro. Those are my peoples. That's my heart. Like, they've done so much for me.
Have you been to the shop lately? Have you seen what's on the window?
I sent you the picture.
Yes, sir. That's my mask that they use. It's fucking dope.
Yeah, I'm like, why aren't you guys asking me? They're like, oh, because Alex just sent it to me. I'm like, all right, I can't get mad at Alex of all people.
Debo's the man. Fucking shout out to Debo.
Shout out to Debo the Pro, man. That's my guy. That's my heart. So this time I'm just kind of chilling beside Rob because he's got a guy helping him out, and I'm just chilling there. And here's two goons again, and they point at me. They're like, I know you. And I'm like, kind of like deer in headlights. I'm like, this is going to turn out pretty bad. I'm in Philly. I don't know how this is going to work. And they're like, I know you. Yada, yada, yada. And the shirt, New York. And I'm like, thank God. I didn't want to get butt raped by these two goons. And then, well, like, don't threaten me with a good time, but so we make the connection, and I remember it's these two goons from 2 years ago, and they know Debo. And at the time, I think Debo had surgery on his knee or some bullshit. So we're chitting in the chat, and it's like, they're doing the thing again. I'm like, I don't know, guys. I don't know. So, but we get in contact. We're just friendly-ish, And then I think it was in either July. That was in May. So that July there was East Coast Con. Something. It's in the roller rink.
Oh, that's fuck. That's shit.
New Jersey. Dave. I forgot. I apologize. Dave something runs it. Really good guy. Really good guy.
Nice. Dave and Sal.
So yeah, Dave and Sal. Great guys.
Garden State Comic-Con.
Fun show. So I get there and I get loaded out, and like I have my mother drop me off just to have a ride at the situation. So I get out of the car, and who is there? These two fucking goons. They're like, "You're that guy. You're that guy." I'm like, "Oh God, what's gonna happen now?" So my mother knows Alex and Mickey as "You're that guy" guys, and she loves them. She loves them. So we get acquainted. It was like, "What's up?" Give them love, and we get a little more friendlier and what's up and all that. And then we link up because we have the same convention agent, Heather Reed of Aces Asylum. Shout out to Heather. You're great people. And then that was a couple years ago, and ever since then, it's just been like a family.
That's it.
Like he's done so much for me that I can't get into, and like that just shows the character that he is, just as a human being. Just besides how talented he is, I'm blessed to have him in my life. He's inspiring. He's good people. Like when I'm down, like sometimes you have good shows, you have bad shows. When you're down, like you just look at him and he's got that smile and he's like, the world doesn't suck. Like he kicks it into you. The world's great, and we have great times. We were in Florida.
That's the philosophy, right? Look, you're saying you had a bad show, right?
Mm-hmm.
But you're at a show fucking making art for fucking people. How bad could it possibly be? You know what I'm saying? And that's it.
It was just a bad day. It was just like a bad afternoon, and then it picked up, and it's like, my wallet is okay. It's saying otherwise, And then we went to Disney after. It was great. That was a fun couple of days. I can't wait till we do it again. And he was one of our. Where's my fucking camera? Whatever. He was one of the guest of honors at last year's first inaugural Geeks at the Beach, and to the day I die, he will always be one of the special guests of honor because of everything that him and his wife Kim have done for us. And
my brother.
Aces. It's like that song, everything is aces. Look, Mama made it. And that song came on the day after me and Heather were clearing shit up after the show. And I'm like Nick's talking like, I did. I'm like, shut up. I put it on. I'm like, shut up, Nick. And he's like, what? And I'm like, everything is aces. Look, Mama, I made it.
That's the shit right there. No, that's fire. I appreciate that, man. Like that's the one thing. That was a not a weird, but a fucking amazing product of doing all these conventions and doing all these shows. Like I said, once I was laid off and I did it full time, like I was on the road, like I was telling you guys, with Mickey at first, like we were all over the place. We were doing, I went from doing like 3 or 4 shows the 1 year to like 12 to 15 shows, and then next thing I was fucking doing 40, 45 shows a fucking year. And do the math, man. That's every fucking other weekend. Like,
So that's a lot, man.
It is. It's a lot of time away from the family. It was a lot of time, like I think that's what hurt the most when this shit went down is that, what was taken from me was that represented that, you know what I'm saying? It represented all those fucking hours. Like I could have not done it and been with my kids and my family and been in the same spot I was that the day after it was gone. You know what I mean? So it's like,
right. Yeah.
It cut so fucking deep, man. And it was one of those instances where it was the first time in 6, 7 years where I'm like, man, fuck this. Like I don't have the energy in me. Like, I don't have it. Like I was already having issues like, because I accept after 4 or 5 years on the road. Like, I remember doing Ocean City. It was like in December, and this was like years ago. And I was coming off of a Ocean City would have been back to back the last show of a 9-week run. I was done, bro. I was exhausted. I was tired, and that year was rough. Like the con circuit, it was that downward spiral that was happening early on, and what I was making just wasn't cutting it. Like, I survived. Like I was telling everybody, I survived. Like, I managed to keep the roof over my head. I managed to keep fed and the wife happy, but I got to a point where I was just exhausted, like absolutely exhausted, because you guys don't understand. It was not just doing shows. Like, I picked up commissions and freelance. Like, I was on. Like,
that's a
lot of work.
Yeah, it's a lot of work, man. Like, when you're a 9 to 5, 5 o'clock comes around, you're done. When you're on your own freelancing, you're getting calls 3, 4, 5 o'clock in the morning. Where's my shit? Like, bitch, I need. Can I?
I know. Yeah, I know.
So it was the fact that I was just so overwhelmed, and I did a dope ass freelance that summer for a great buddy of mine who is now my boss, which is amazing. Shout out to fucking Ryan Rutherford. I met through the fucking con and the con circuit. See, guys, you gotta understand, when I was doing the con circuit, I was also trying to make my way into this whole toy scene, doing gallery shows and for other people. And a lot of the freelance work I was taking on was I was encouraging the customs. And I met him through one of my I hosted a show. I had met him, through the con circuit. I said, hey man, in any way you can do a fucking piece for me for the show? He fucking said yes. Bust out a beautiful piece, and we had a great relationship, and we would always talk. Every time I would see him at every other con. He was always like, you run into the same circle of people every single time. And a lot of my shows were toy centric shows. Your 5 points, your decons, your Comic Cons. We're in the block, so we're not. It wasn't the comic book section. It was the the toy section of everything, and that's where I kind of snuck in my fan art, because around me nobody was doing it. So I always did very well because I just brought something that was different and unique. Nice. And through that whole circle of meeting people and building this circle out, he's the one that kind of offered me a freelance gig that turned into a full-time gig that I'm still currently in, which, to be honest, saved my fucking life. Because when I remember getting to Ocean City and I didn't book anything for the next year, I was just fucking completely overwhelmed. I'm like, man, I don't know if I can, I don't know. I'm gonna fucking quit and just be a farmer. Fuck it, I don't care. Like, nobody ever let me quit, man. Like, he believed in me. He was one of the dudes that fucking absolutely believed me. Because even he's like, what is it exactly that you do? I'm like, dude. I fucking do it all. Like, give me fucking, like, if it's something creative, I don't give a shit. I'll fucking do it. Like, I'll figure it out, And that's what I remember that line. I was like, well, what do you need? He said, well, I need to Photoshop some things. I'm like, yeah, it's fucking easy. What else you need? He's like, no, that's it. I'm like, that's all you're asking me for fucking Photoshop work? Okay. I did this. I was like, here, done. Like, it's and that fucking landed me this gig that I'm at now, and I'm fucking grateful as fuck. And again, it's just again thankful for this circle. The Seans, the Heathers, the fucking Buns, the Dad's Cartoons, the fucking Umingas, like all these guys that like I've crossed path with, and kind of just my life has been intermingled with all these people. Like it goes beyond the cons, it goes beyond the art. Like these are family. This is family. Like when
this I care about
problem, I know that he feels comfortable shit to call me up. I need help. And I can do the same thing with them. That's the crazy thing about this. And this last couple of weeks have just shown that. Like, it goes beyond that. Like, even the people who support it, the people that don't even know me personally, but know of me, they're like, you need help, and I can help you. Fuck, dude. Like, you can't ask for anything more than that. Like, that fucking, like, that ability to help your fellow human in need, there's nothing greater. There's nothing greater.
That's awesome.
And again, it's a detriment to your character and who you are. Like, give me the smile. Give me the smile. Give me the smile. Come on, give me the teeth. How can you not love that face? How can you not love that face?
So I gotta ask.
Because of who you are. Go.
I gotta ask. You before we started the live show, you were showing us a little bit of your workshop. What are you currently like working on right now as far as like sculpting and I mean if you can show anything.
Yeah, for sure. Okay, so let me clear up a little bit. So right now, currently, before all this kind of shit, before the craziness with COVID and everything fucking happened, I'm on a mission to tie. It was the beginning of tying this world together, right? I'm like, okay, there's a reason that colorway exists. There's a reason behind it. There's a story behind it. And I jumped on the fact. I was like, okay, you know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna do a run of customs. So right now on my table, don't mind the hot mess, but
that's a workshop.
Yeah, right now on my table, we have a few customs that I'm working on. So there is shout out to Fed Up Toys. I designed this. He designed this. I sketched out this character based on an idea he had, and then we had them sculpted up and printed out. So these are the minis that we're working on now. They're gonna get painted. They're all gonna have like black tracksuits and all that good shit. So they're just a set of 20 here. Here's one that's a little closer to being done. It's gonna look like that nice. With the white stripes.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
So that's Nug THC. So it's something I'm helping Fed Up Toys with. But before that, I dropped what I call the Rilla Custom. So it's based on that colorway. So everything you see here eventually is going to get that treatment. So as you can kind of start seeing, some of this is just all this is laid out. So everything starts off.
That's cool.
Back there, you can kind of see where. So all these are going to get the Rilla treatment, and then I have one that I'm working on for Mon. They're these cool little Mon characters. So I let me see if I can get focused. There it is. So I sculpted up this little monster character.
That's cool.
And then eventually, hopefully this weekend he'll get some paint on and he'll be up for grabs. That's the only one that doesn't have an owner yet. Everything else, everybody has claimed so far, which like I said, is a testament to like people who keep supporting me. Then I got a stack of some blank covers that I have to.
There you go.
So there's a bunch of dope. I'm working on a couple logos for a couple of people. There's 3D sculpts that I'm working for. Toy related shit, which is again, I'm just fucking thankful and grateful. So yeah, I'm always busy. Like, and if I tell you I'm not busy, I'm lying my ass off because everybody's like, well, call me when you're not busy.
When is that? When is that?
Then behind me is all my fucking like all these are all ready to what I call fodder, right? So just different pieces that are in progress. There's my airbrush painting station here. There's my paint station behind me. This is just a bunch of blank toys that eventually going to get customized. Some things that I'm already in progress and working on. So
nice.
Sculpted. Some of them are almost painted and almost ready. But it's nonstop. It's nonstop for me. Like I can't. I think I have a problem.
It's a good problem to have, I guess. Doing what you love.
Yeah, man. It's like I said, like Sean asked me earlier about if this is a renaissance, and I think it's kind of dope. It's a great word and a great concept to think of. Like, I lost all my inventory. Everything's fucking gone. So I'm starting from scratch, right?
Right.
I've always wanted, like I told you from the beginning, my origin story is toys. It's always been toys. The illustrations were a means to an end. People dig the style a lot, which is, I'm still blown away by every fucking day. When somebody calls me and like, here's money for a fucking sketch, I'm like, what? For real? Like,
yeah. Not buy my shit. Okay.
Like it's just a fucking doodle, right? Like it's not like I'm not published anywhere. Like I don't, you know what I mean? Like no, they're like no, they and that is so fucking mind blowing. So, am I gonna stop that? Probably not. Am I gonna do the stuff I was doing before? No, right? So, all the old Playful Gorilla library is getting kind of shelved, right?
Okay. Yeah.
I am on a mission to build my world out. And all that means is that whatever I do moving forward, I want to tie back into my story, to my world, to my characters. If it's through illustration, if it's through pins, if it's through stickers, I just want to start tying everything in. I still I have a huge portfolio of artwork that will sit there. So more than likely I'll put them on like a product on demand site like T Public or something. Like I'll probably eventually load everything up, but I'm not gonna focus on that anymore. Sunday, shout out to FX Graphics. I am hosting a sticker printing party, which is kind of cool. We're gonna go live at the shop. We're gonna fucking print out on demand. So if you guys want stickers, fucking done up. If it's mine, if it's yours, whatever, go live with me and we'll take orders on demand and shit like that. That's like events like that. I'll bring back the old stuff, right? Because that's ready to go, ready to print, ready to
Right.
I'll tell you, my fucking like the amount of fucking characters and fucking fan art that I have is silly. It's just at one point
very talented, very beautiful.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Regardless of people throwing out the whole fan art thing, it's something like you've never seen. It's like it's guerrillaed out, it's remixed, it's funky, like funky. I love the word funky. Like it's funky.
It's not for everybody. I'm not going out there. It's like I've learned that it's not for everybody. But it struck a chord with a nice, decent sized fan base, and I love every single one of them, man. Every single.
Oh, decent? Have you seen your following? Like, what the hell? Like your pop sellout like that? Like,
yeah.
New York. Remember, was it this past New York or the New York Pride?
That was the last one. You were there?
He's like, yeah, this got sold like within minutes. I'm like, what?
Yeah, it was the first time I did this like green and black colorway on a bunch of different platforms, and I did 21 pieces. 15 sold out in the first hour. By day 2, 20 sold, and then one stuck around, and that was sold on my way out to somebody who bought a piece that was in one of the gallery shows. So it was my first major sellout, and it's addictive, man. When that was like that point, and that was that point where I'm like, man, like I love the cons. Like I do. Don't get me twisted. Like going in front of people, I fucking love it. Actually, like give me a fucking crowd. I don't give a shit. I'm in my fucking glory. But that was a product of me finding myself, right? So it's like, oh wow, this is cool. But that was never the intent. The intent was always toys, and the intent was always how can I be a legit designer in this little industry? And the idea is eventually that not only do I want to be a designer, like I want to create my own shit, and all this is going to feed into that. So yeah, I'm getting close, man. I'm really fucking getting close. I can't wait for my own release with my name and nobody else, not not kind of collabing with somebody or something. Like that's my dream. That's my fucking dream right now. I can fucking taste it. Like it's just
yeah. I mean, you can definitely tell you got a lot of passion for it, and that's cool because a guy like me, I'm just getting introduced to you, just hearing you talk over the last almost hour.
Sorry, has it been enough? God damn, why didn't you tell me?
You're fine. No, dude, you're fine.
We're good until you want to dip. That's all I'm saying.
But no, I mean, just that kind of passion and energy is something that excites me as a newcomer. To want to know more about what you're doing and stuff. So I mean, it's very awesome. I was wondering about the toys. Have you ever done anything with fuck, my mind's going away from me. It's been a long day. With like statue building or anything, like if somebody came to you and said, hey, I would love you to make me a statue of fucking RoboCop or something, is that something that you would do, kind of thing?
So one of my fortes, not fortes, but like the one thing that I always kept close to me in my heart, like when it comes to illustration stuff like that and doing freelance for everybody else, like if you need something and you don't got the budget, but I know that it can help you. Like, dude, I've blessed so many people with free logos and fucking like things. But one thing that I always kept close to my heart has always been my 3D modeling. So like my 3D sculpting is something that I've never budged on when it came to what I charge, and it's never and the thing is that I even to myself, I broke that. Like, because at one point I was offering, I wanted to get into the industry so bad. I'm like, yo, I'll fucking sculpt for free as long as I get some credit. And nobody ever given that fucking offer. So it's like, there's a couple production pieces. Like there's a dope artist named White Boy 1988 on Instagram. I've designed a bunch of his fucking figures and a bunch of cool characters that he's come up with, and and I've helped design. But yes, sculpt. Like I'm a digital sculptor, right? So that's where my forte is. Like I can take a digital sculpt, and if you want it a small bust or you want a 6-foot fucking bronze statue, I can I have all the connects to do all that. But my process is absolutely 100% digital. Yeah, for sure.
Nice. That's awesome.
It's fun. Really awesome. It's fun. Like I tell you right now, and you're a creator. You understand that moment, the moment when you fucking put the pencil down, you look fucking, man, it's like, holy shit, I just created that.
Yeah.
Take that fucking feeling, something that you create in the computer and fucking like it's a sculpt and it's something is tangible, and that motherfucker gets printed out and produced and you fucking hold it in your hand. Like this fucking feeling right here, this motherfucking feeling, there's nothing like that. Nothing like it. It is more addictive than any fucking drug, any fucking, like, this is it. Like for me, like this is it. Like I don't know how, I don't know when. I don't think I ever gonna stop pursuing that fucking high. And
yeah,
that's my motivation, man. Like sometimes when the world fucking sucks and shit around you is just fucking falling apart, you hold on to that, right? You remember that moment. Fuck, I finished. This piece is fucking done, and it's fucking great. Sometimes we can't tell that to other people, right? Sometimes we have to kind of like, well, I kind of know, but you know it. You feel
it. Absolutely, absolutely.
Shit, this is like, yes, that feeling is what I cannot fucking give up, and that feeling, like, I'm addicted to it, man. I am absolutely. 100%.
Joe, can you just pull this up real quick? I want to get Alex's opinion on this because he's the brand master.
Where are you sending it?
FB Messenger. So
the logo?
I did the logo for my character for Type 1, which Alex will be one of the variant cover artists. So he's blessed.
Nice. Dream of mine, and this motherfucker's gonna make it happen, which is amazing.
That is awesome,
man. So Mark, our buddy Mark Polton, shout out to Mark.
Mark.
I had it Type 1 as TYPE number 1. It goes in being Type 1 diabetic, but yada yada. He's like, why don't you do it ONE and use the circle of the symbol as for the O? And I'm like, motherfucker, you're right. So this is what I came up with. I'm getting pretty good reception from everybody. And I got a gig out of it. Oh, well,
it's coming.
But it's one of those things. It sounds like me on prom night. But
you're in it.
There we go.
Oh,
now she's up there.
I see. Oh, that's fire.
Yeah, that's fucking dope, man. I love it.
That's fucking good. When it comes to logo building and just illustrations, like it's exactly what you want. It's solid.
Yeah.
Fucking line work is dope. You have varying line, line weights. It's the colors are just in your face. Like that's a fucking great logo, man.
Appreciate it. Thank you. And I just wanted to plug myself because
hell yeah. Why the hell not? Shout out to Sean. Hell yeah.
Yeah,
that's right.
Definitely.
Hell yeah.
Shout out to the whole stickers. Shout out to me. Shout out to this guy. Why don't you follow me? Follow me. Look. Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, everybody. You porn, you just, I'm all over the place. You can't stop it.
I don't know if I want to check you out on some of those sites, but who knows? Who knows?
Is that a Tinder profile I see back there? Is that how that works?
What's that?
Is that a Tinder profile I see on your banner?
Grindr.
Yeah.
That's how me and Joe reconnected.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
that's absolutely how it happened.
I'm joking.
Red, to get mommy to put some lotion on.
Yeah, she did. Okay.
Sorry, I got my coworker. He is beat red. They've been outside.
Really?
Oh my god.
A bit of a sunburn, huh?
Oh, shoot. That was my bad. I didn't put. So, damn it. Sometimes you forget. Okay, listen. Don't judge me. All right. I had a rough night last night. Shout out to my cohort, Bunny Mischief. Her and I do virtual paint parties on Friday night. So when you guys are ready, say hi, Keaton. There he is. That's my other cohort.
Hey, there you go.
When you guys are ready, I want you guys to fucking join us on a fucking virtual paint and paint party.
All right.
Which mostly it's mostly drinking. Let's be honest, mostly drinking. But you're in a room like this. You know how the vibes are, man. The vibes are always awesome. Like, you're able to kind of kick back ideas and just shoot the shit with other artists. Like, it's a great platform. It's a great time right now to be a fucking artist. Like, it's a great time to fucking internet. Like, dude, meeting you today, that's fucking awesome, Joe. Like
yeah, likewise, dude.
Go back and follow. Don't mind me. I gotta go back and make sure I'm like,
Hey, I got
But I'm putting you guys on my Instagram. Sorry. Bam.
Yep.
Boom. Here we go. I'm gonna go live again. I've been recording the whole time. Just saying.
Oh, wow.
Oh, nice.
We're everywhere. We're like the clap.
Like the clap. Except you can't get rid of me.
I swear that one. So, have you thought? I'm sure you thought of this, but we've talked about it. But making your own books, making your own
yes
stories, and we've talked about this.
Yes, we have. And so shout out to Big C, my brother from another mother. This was the person who entrusted me with his children's book. You can go right now. It's called Baby Fats, the World's First Dragon. I was responsible for all his illustrations in the book, from a character of a toy that he creates, which is fucking amazing. It's called the Baby Fats, which I got to go off. That's Baby Fats.
I'm just trying to pull up your Instagram stream there.
Oh, word.
Yeah, I got to find a way to mute it, though. So keep on talking. If you hear an echo, that's fine.
So he designed this dope-ass toy. This is Baby Fats. It's basically a book that, the way he coins it, was celebrating differences. Here he is, Baby Fats.
Nice.
I think that's beautiful, especially now.
It's an amazing book. Like, if you Google it, it's up on Amazon. You guys can pick it up. It's a dope cause. It's a great message. And news, I'm actually working on the 2.0 version of this character that we will be releasing hopefully next year. So
awesome, dude.
Big shout out to Big C.
But
as far as so again, remember I told you I had a little kind of chip on my shoulder because I'm a little jealous of all my indie buddies. So I have a concept that I'm trying to roll out, because when I tell you it's all about the toys, the reality is, oh my bad, don't mind that noise. The reality is that I fell in love with what you guys do. Like I say you guys because, like, I see you guys creating content. I see you guys creating comic books. Like, that's a fucking bug that bit me, that I'm like, fuck, I want to do this too. So my concept is this, right? I have this world I'm building, right? And it's ready here. Shit, I haven't, like, I feel nervous just saying it. It's called oh man, it's called the Prime Ape Chronicles. Okay, the Prime Ape Chronicles revolves around the uprising of intelligent animals. Okay, mainly primate. So the idea to roll out the story is, like I said, I'm an old school animator. I love comic strips. I love comic books. I love graphic novels. I love little kids running around naked in the background. So I'm a toy freak. So I want to tell this story across multiple mediums. Okay. So what does that mean? Well, I'm going to write my Bible, and the Bible is going to give you the core understanding of what's going on in this world. That I want to treat that like I don't know if you ever open up like those concept books that, like, from Disney and stuff like that, where you open up and there's like there's sketches and story. Like I want to build this like interactive kind of like illustrated graphic novel-ish Bible. Okay.
Yeah.
From there, I'm going to branch off and I'm going to recount and go dive deeper into certain aspects of the story. So like you may pick up a resin release that I have, and it's carded, and on the back is a blurb that ties back into the story. you know, there's a incident that happens in the story that revolves a Area 51 type kennel, which I call Kennel 51, and it's all about these animals that are being tested on. That's a little more comical, and that actually is going to be turned into a comic strip. So by the time I'm said and done, I want to present to you a story and a world told through all the mediums that I love, including toys, comics, animation, shorts, the whole nine.
Fucking beautiful.
If that ever happens, I don't fucking know. But that's all that's been fucking in my head for years. And I think I finally have the ability to pull everything off in a weird sort of.
You definitely do. You definitely do.
No, that sounds awesome, man.
Your mind frame, it'll happen. It might not be now or tomorrow, but it'll happen.
Slowly but surely, and that's what I want to do. Like I want to sit back and really hash everything out, and like, because here the way my mind works, man. Sometimes I wake up, I don't want to do toys. Sometimes I wake up, I don't want to illustrate. Sometimes I wake up, I don't want to do fucking logos and illustrations. Like, I don't want to do it. So it's like I want to have the ability to say, you know what, today I want to fucking just sketch out a fucking comic strip. Boom. I have my Bible that I can dive into and actually expand this story and write it down. You go into my office now, you see fucking post-it notes of fucking craziness, and like I'm legit not kidding. Like so that I don't know if I'm gonna show it, but this is like a breakdown, a timeline of the events that happen in my story, right? So it's like I have it laid out. I have all the concepts. I have all the ideas. Like, I have some characters that I want to work on. I have the major players. Like, it's there. It's just.
I know what you mean. I know what you mean.
Yeah, I mean, it's there. That's how the process starts, right?
There
it is. You can't read it. But I mean, I mean, listen. That's the approach I want to take. Is it going to happen? Right. But I know that I can focus on certain things in the meantime and just, like, there is a backstory for that green and black colorway. It's part of a squad that exists within the story, and how that squad influences the community and how the community uprises, which is so fucking strange because of exactly what's happening right now, because it very ties into what I've been trying to write about. I do have my first blurb, Sean. I don't know if I sent it to you yet. But I do have my first kind of like prelude that I wrote out that kind of introduces the world, and I'll send it to you. Joe, I'll send it to you, Joe. Joe, I'll send it to you too. Just like all I'm asking is a fair fucking like. I don't like. I'm not gonna get offended and be like, yo, this shit fucking sucks. Like, rewrite this. It was the first time I sat there and I'm like, I'm gonna write. Like, fuck, like, it's in my head. Let me write it down. And it just kind of introduces a specific point in the story that's closer to the end. I'm not going to spoil it because it's my story and I want you guys to read it. But the tone that I use, the visuals that I use, that's the writing style that I want the Bible to kind of mimic. So hopefully you guys.
That's interesting, because when I first started creating my shit, like seriously, like in like my early 20s, I had a good friend of mine who went to like film school, and he was all about like bougie movies. But anyway, he was a writer, and I asked him what was the best way to come up with a story. He's like, get the basics for the beginning, get the ending, and it all meets in the middle. So that's kind of how it works. Like, once you know whatever, you can still fuck with it here and there, like move shit around. But like, if you know what's up with the what's up, it's easier to fill in the gaps.
Yeah. It's an old technique. It's an old animation technique. When you're trying to storyboard something, or you're trying to get an idea across, you just write it out. You write it out, and that's the approach I'm taking. I'm just using what I know. I'm not a writer. I am not a but I feel like I know how to tell a story.
But you're a storyteller. Yeah. You're a storyteller regardless. Like, you may get your comments mixed up, but you're still a storyteller. Like, yeah, it doesn't matter.
That's why everybody else, fixes the grammar and shit like that. I don't do that. I mean, like, but like I said, I want to start spreading this. I want to show you, because I think this blurb is going to be on the back of a carded figure, because the character that's in there, it's a really dope, fucked up character. But I want you guys to read it, and I want you to give me a fair, legit opinion. Be like, yo, this is terrible, or yo, this is or whatever. Like, I like,
right, yeah.
I'm not gonna be offended because, like I said, this is so super early, and but just know that I'm in progress.
It's the only way you'll grow. You know, like
Yeah.
of course I give you my honest opinion is assessment.
You know what's
critique's good.
Yeah, critiques. Like, listen, that's the word I come from, right? In animation, like, you have to get critiqued because when you animate, you're animating from your perspective, and sometimes your perspective is off. It's real simple, and that's not a bad thing. That just means you didn't look at that situation in multiple ways. And the minute you start looking at one situation in multiple ways, you can actually create what's called a blended perspective, which is kind of dope because you can say, okay, well, I know that person thinks this of this character. Well, I don't think that way, but that's kind of cool. So let me try to integrate that with my, you know what I mean? So that's how you kind of, animate certain scenes and certain emotions and shit like that. So like I'm utilizing all that. I'm trying my damnedest to utilize all that. So yeah.
That's quite the same as it is with art as well. You know, I mean, and Sean knows, I mean, when we reconnected and we both started talking about our own projects and what, I mean, Sean was a huge encouragement to me. And I'm a storyteller too. I don't consider myself a writer, but I can create characters, I can create worlds, and I can put concepts together. And I would always send stuff to Sean. I'd be like, hey man, I plotted out my first issue, or here's, the history of my characters and the history of my story and the backstory, what do you think? And I'd always, send it to him, have him read it, and just let, get a second opinion. I do that with art. I used to send him a bunch of stuff I'd be working on in progress, commissions or whatnot, just to get his feet. I mean, he does that same thing to me too. Like, we're constantly bouncing stuff off of each other, and it's good because you get a second person's view, which is
very helpful.
Needed sometimes.
Yeah,
it's very helpful.
So I got a question for you, Joe.
Yeah.
All right. So the most difficult part that I've found in creating a world is fucking massive, right? There's so many things I want to say. How do you approach fiddling it down to present something? Like, let's say you're like, so issue 1 of a comic book that you're writing of a fucking massive world. Like, do you like how do you? I got fucking storytelling ADD. You know what I mean? I'm all over the fucking place. Like, I know I want this, I don't want that, I want this, I want to connect this, but like, how do you start whittling it down to like, this is the most important part. I can pass on this. I haven't quite figured that out yet.
So I'll show you something. Get rid of this real quick. So with my book right now, Reaper Destroyer, that I'm working on.
Fuck you, goddamn.
Oops.
This is why I don't. This is. I just doodle, man.
Stop.
Yeah, it's
wild.
But with this book, because the way I have to world build when I'm creating characters, and I've always had just a really good knack of creating a character and creating a backstory for the character. And I come from the school of thought that I love epic storytelling, like, Lord of the Rings, Game of Thrones, things that have like thousands and thousands of years of history within their world. And that's what I created with this character. This character, literally, the characters within this story stretch back, tens of thousands of years, before like even the dawn of time kind of thing. And so when I have such a massive story like that, the instinct is like, I want to just present it all in the first issue because I want people to know what I've been creating, and, because in my mind it's so cool. It's like, you need to know this, you need to know that. And working with my writer, I found that it's really good to pick a handful of central characters to your book, focus on them, and then integrate the massive amount of the story as you go, and you reveal it little by little. So I'm focusing mainly on my main character, which is, his name is Matthew Walker. He's the Reaper Destroyer, which is the name of the book. The main bad guy, whose name is Victor Reigns, and then a secondary bad guy who's actually more powerful, named Vanessa. And with those three characters, I'm going to tell and intertwine my entire thousands and thousands of years of history of these immortal characters and what they have, where they were, where they are now, why some of them are trying to, create what they used to have, kind of, without giving too much of the story away right now. Just, you integrate that in slowly while putting your main focus on the struggle of your main character and the main antagonist of the story as well. So you whittle it down as much as you can. And it's hard for me.
Me too.
I needed that. I needed that help from my writer to come in and say, hey, this is what you need to focus on, because I'm probably much like you, where I'm just like, in my mind, the first issue was going to be this. It's going to be like, boom, everything in your face. Here we go. Let's go.
And we both know that that's not like, that's what you want, but know that's not a good way to tell a story. Like,
absolutely.
But I battle with that. Like I do, because I'm like, yo, you understand? There's this and there's guy. But it's like, no, that's not how you. That's the one struggle I've had, and honestly, like legit fucking post-it notes and fucking sketchbooks and fucking just shit everywhere. Right. I know the key points. I just don't know how to,
I would say create your world and get as much of the backstory and development you have, because in my world, I have a lot of history. I have a lot of history of different characters, different families within these groups of characters, and warring factors and all that kind of stuff. I have all that set. So anytime I want, I can pull from that to build my story as we go. So that's also,
you're not revealing it, but you're tapping into it to like drop the little hints here and there as you go along. So by the time you're done, you have that information now fully in your hands.
Exactly. Yep. And it's,
you're a fucking genius.
I can't take credit for all that. Like I said, my writer Joel Rodriguez, he's helped quite a bit with being able to flesh out because he's a really good writer, and he comes from the writing standpoint. Like he's not an artist, he's a writer. So he can actually take my concepts and step back and be like, to engage the audience, to keep them caring about a character and interested about what you're trying to tell. This is how we need to do it. We need to go by these steps. We need to develop these characters. You've got great concepts. Well, let's focus. Let's tunnel vision to just this concept right now, and then let's build as we go. And that's.
So do you try to, like you said, you had like three main characters, right? Do you go down the rabbit hole of flushing out one character at a time, or do you kind of like, okay, I'm here, but I want to make sure I'm not forgetting this, and I go down that hole, and then do you go back and forth, or do you laser focus on the one?
So obviously, because
I know these are hard pressing questions. I apologize.
Obviously, because my character, the protagonist of the story, mainly focusing on him or her or whoever it might be. You want to develop that story. You want to make sure that the fans connect with that character and that they care about that character, that they have some kind of issues that deal within the world that you're creating. And then you want to focus on your main antagonist of the story, and you want the fans to also care about that character in a different way, whether they hate him, whether they think this cool anti-hero kind of vibe, whatever, however you're developing that. And so you focus most of it on the main character, and then you're going to want to focus and develop a bad guy, because nobody's going to care really about a bad guy you don't know anything about.
Correct.
You need to have some kind of characteristics, some kind of history, you need to dive into, just like, Game of Thrones. Everybody hates Cersei because you really got to know who her character was, and you saw that development. It wasn't just, this is who she is and that's it. You saw what she went through, her struggles, or what made her be who she was by the end of the show.
Yeah.
It's much the same way in telling or creating comic book characters or developing those characters, which is what I've kind of learned dealing with Joel. Talking to him and dealing with or him helping me has really opened my eyes a lot to developing characters and not just having plot and like I can go from A to B to C, but he's like, we're going to fill in everything in between and make it interesting, and pace it the way it needs to be paced.
See, this is what I'm talking about. This is what, like, I've seen on the concert, and I'm like, I want that. So when you're
Right.
fucking, you're dude, you're like, I just want to get the fuck off of this fucking shit so I can start writing. I ain't gonna lie. It's that like that. Thank you. That's what I've been fucking asking for, right? Because it's like, this is why I love doing this. This is why this time now is so fucking important, because we're forced to have these conversations, right?
Yeah.
We're forced to sit here and fucking like, listen, I don't know what I'm doing. I will figure it out. Don't get it twisted. But I just don't know what I'm doing. And listening and hearing that, dude, Joe, you just fucking put.
I would say that, you know, reaching out to as many people as you can and picking their brains, especially if they have experience with writing or telling stories, is extremely beneficial. Because I would say the same thing too. Like I had to admit, like I wanted to write the book by myself originally. I wanted to write it by myself, script it by myself. That's what I wanted to do. And eventually I had to kind of just take a step back, take the pride off for a second and be like, I need help doing this. If I want it to be as good as it's going to be, and I want it to be appealing to the audience that I'm hoping to suck into, I need an experienced writer to help me bring my ideas out. Because otherwise, I would have had a really awesome action book, some really cool art, but the character development probably would have been flat.
Gotcha.
You know, and I would have probably stubbed my toe trying to get from, why is this character doing this? What is his motivation? You know, what drives him to be the person he is, or what made him the person he is, kind of thing. You know, those are really important questions to ask that, from my mind, I couldn't tell. You know, so I had to have that outside source come in and help me tell that. And really, it's just, you get those creative minds sitting together, bouncing ideas off each other, and all of a sudden things just flow. You know, and they present an idea that maybe you didn't see before, and it opens your eyes, and you're just like, oh, that, you know, and then you just mesh together, and this beautiful story just starts coming out, and it's extremely exciting. You know, like,
ready? How did you like? How? And it sounds weird because like I never thought about it that way. Like, you're right. Like, I think at one point, you have to bring that second, like just like we like just mentioned, like you have to bring that second perspective. How did you come up with your writer? Like, was it organic? Was it something that you searched out for? Was it something that he brought to the table? Was it something that he approached you with? Was it you approaching him? Did you call him first? Did you send him flowers first? Did like who sent the chocolate? Like who kissed first? Like who? You know what I'm saying? I just want to know it all.
Right. It's well, I approached him, and the way it happened is, originally I was actually talking to Mark Polton about writing my book, but I hadn't developed enough of my own story to make sense of what I was looking for. So like, he did a really, I mean, he even sent me a couple plotted issues of the first issue, and I really liked him, but it wasn't what I was looking for my character. But that was my fault because I wasn't presenting it properly.
You say plotted issue, like what does a writer give to you? What does that look like? That's kind of fucking interesting. And again, these are things that it's really intriguing, and I have no idea. Like,
well, like plotted of an issue is, you know, you can break down what you want to happen. So you have your overall story arc, whether it's 3 issues, 4 issues, 6 issues, whatever. And then you got to break that story arc down into each specific issue and tell that story from A to B. Okay. You know, so you want to make sure that you plot that first issue. What do you want to have happen in that issue? Almost like episodes of a TV series in a season.
Okay.
You know, because you're building that overall story from premiere to season finale, so to speak. And every issue is an episode of that TV series. So you have to move the story along. You have to introduce characters, and you know, hit all your plot points that you need to do so it makes sense at the end. So when like with Mark, when he plotted stuff out to me, I was like, this is what I want to happen in the first issue. I've got the beginning, I know what I kind of want to have in the middle, and I know how I want the issue at the end. I don't know anything in the middle, you know? So he would kind of go through and just like pace wise be like, you know, page 1, we're going to do this, page 2, we're going to do this, so on and so on and so on through 22 pages. And that's the same thing that my writer and I have done, where, because we work in more of the Marvel method style of writing, where he doesn't, some writers would write a page out and be like, this is a 5-panel page, this is what happened in each panel. We don't do it because it's my book. He's just like, you know, we're going to break down the issue together, and I'm going to take the artistic, what's the word? Yeah, I'm going to take the artistic, thank you, Sean, artistic reins of drawing what I want to draw based on our script together.
Right.
So, but with Joel, I knew Joel back before he was doing anything. Like I used to be in a heavy metal band for a number of years, and he used to be a young kid that came out to our shows.
Oh wow.
Yeah, he's almost 10 years younger than me. So he used to come out to my shows all the time. At that time, we didn't know either of us like comics. I was just this front man in the metal band. He was just a fan. We would hang out. It wasn't until years later that when I got done doing music and I started getting back into art, I'd post a lot of my art on Facebook or whatever. And I posted this sketch I did of Spawn, and he hit me up out of the blue. He's like, "Hey, dude, a long time. We haven't talked in a while, but your art's awesome. I didn't know that you were into comics." And he was like, "I've always wanted to write comics. I've been writing for years. Like he took classes on writing." And he's like, I wonder if I could send you, some of my work. And I was like, yeah, sure. And I was actually really surprised when I read his scripts for what he sent me. I was like, wow, man. I was like, you were actually really, really talented.
That's awesome.
And we tried to work on a couple projects for a few years that just didn't work out. Some stuff that he had, some stuff we were trying to do together. And for some reason or other, it just didn't pan out. So when Mark kind of fell through, where I was just like, I need to develop the story more. I'm going to take my project and go do that. And Mark hit extreme successes with Graveyard Shift and all the stuff he was doing. So I mean, he's a busy motherfucker now. So when I came back, he was kind of busy. That was fine. I understood that. The first person that popped in my head was Joel. So I hit him up. I was like, hey, man, I've got this project. I think you would be perfect for helping me bring this out. Let's sit down and talk. And that just kind of opened the doors to a conversation. And then, like you said, when you get in the room with somebody and you start bouncing ideas, you can find out fairly quickly if you guys are going to mesh, for one. And, he and I meshed like that, and it was just off to the races. So that was me. I didn't really have to search all that much. So long-winded story. I didn't really have to search for a writer all that much because I just had one that was there.
That's all.
I'm sure Sean has ideas on like how to reach out to certain people. Sean?
Yeah, I'm Sean Aaron. You need to. No, I'm kidding. No, I think we're in a great position with our circle of friends that are creatives to workshop with, whether it be Phil McNulty, just anybody that's a storyteller. Come to me. Like, I have no problem being like, yada, yada, yada. I think we have a great group of circle of friends that in one way or another are storytellers and just bounce off ideas. Even if they're not in that specific realm of comic books or what have you, they still have a valid opinion of cool shit.
Yeah,
because the key is cool shit.
Yeah, at the end of the day, I think that's where I'm at, right? I think it comes down, and again, this is the old animator in me. At the end of the day, it comes down to a good story. If the story is shit, I don't give a fuck how the visuals look. The story is still shit, right?
Yeah.
And it's like a good story. I mean, give me a couple stick figures, and a good story will hold up in any fucking, in any format. And I think that's the theory I'm pursuing, right? It's just like I'm going to tell a story, and it's going to be in different formats, and there's just ways to tell a story in different ways that that could work really well. Like like I said, I'm a fan of it all. Like that's at the end of the day, that's the one thing I want to put out there is that, yes, I bring a skill set that I've learned over the years, but man, like I'm a fan of all this shit. Like I'm a fan of you guys. Like I'm a fan of what
you're a storyteller. You're an artistic storyteller. At the end of the day, that's in your DNA, whatever form it's going to be. You're still telling a story.
That's it. And like that's and I think that's what the fear is, right? When you create something, when you create a story, and I'm talking about storytelling, I'm sorry, it's like story and world building and shit like that. It's like that's your baby, man. And for somebody else to over and you have an ugly ass baby, like that shit's scary, But I think I'm at a point where
it's like my baby ain't ugly. Have you seen my lady?
Yeah, right. My lady's beautiful, baby. Like, so my baby's like gorgeous. So no, but like, and I think that confidence level comes from talking to you guys. So, it's like being in the same room with these creators, being in the same room with these storytellers, being in the same room with these artists, and like it's fucking addicting, man. Like, and I caught that bug. And I didn't think I ever was going to be here in this like crossroads of my life. You know what I'm saying? And I think this is it. Like, this is it. Like, at the end of the day, look. And I'm gonna be very fucking transparent. If I do it and it fucking fails and it flops on my face, I can at least turn to my boys and say, hey, look, here's what I attempted. Here's what I tried. Here's what I did. I stuck through it. I finished it. Unfortunately, it didn't work. Or be like, hey, go give me that Ferrari real quick. Baby. Oh, you can take it. You know what I'm saying? So there's only two things that can possibly happen. And I've always taken that sense in just life, period. It's like you have to take chances. And I think I've never taken that fucking chance. And this is it. Like, you know, all the series of events that led me to this point in life with all the shit that's happened around us. Like it's you know, I'm not saying that, you know, I don't know. The universe is saying something. The universe is saying, yo, shut the fuck up and do what you set out to do and fucking make it dope. And at the end of the day, that's all I want. And if it fails, it fails. If it doesn't, all I know is I'm gonna be fucking the shit out of it when you see me at a con next time. That's what I'm saying.
You know, I mean,
beers on me.
It's a good time. It's a good time right now for indie projects because there's a lot of attention on indie creators right now. So I mean, if there's a time to get out there and to pursue something and just take a chance, this is it. It's now. You know, I mean, I think it's only going to increase. Like, I think we're just still at the prefaces of this exploding. You know, over the last few years, you're really seeing a big explosion. I think it's going to get bigger and bigger. So anybody that's out there that has this drive, like Sean and me and you, we're still kind of building our stuff and working right now, you'll get on it because this is the time to do it.
Yeah,
you know?
that's the one thing. If there's anything that anybody takes away from this fucking this dope ass meeting, which thank you again for inviting me, guys, is that, man, take a chance. This is the time now to take that chance. Yo, you never know if it's gonna work or not. The only you know, I always had that chip on the shoulder of like, I wish somebody gave me a chance. Fuck that. Nah, like, do it. Just do it. There's no time like the present, and just fucking, you know, face your fears and just fucking jump off the ledge. And
no, you're right.
Yeah, but
that's probably
like,
the best.
You know,
some of the best advice that Rob has given me is
wait.
Do it. Shut
Rob
up. Shut up.
Well, Rob
did that right.
Yeah, who's
Rob Landry, Rob Corridor, Rob Rivera.
Hold on. How do you do wait, how do I switch a camera on this fucking thing?
What are you on? Your iPad?
Yeah, maybe I can do this one.
There should be an option.
Motherfucker, this motherfucker.
That guy.
Okay.
Now that we know.
Now you guys see my collection of porn.
Damn, you have it out in the open, dude? Jesus Christ, kudos to you.
This is my studio. You know, it's nothing but me. I'm not wearing underwear. That's what's great about being an illustrator. I get up, and if I'm lucky to put on my underwear, I go to work on my computer. It depends if I showered and if I'm crispy. The only person that's going to stop you from doing what you want to do is you. Nobody else. If you don't do it, it's not going to happen.
That's it.
And then you're going to kick yourself in the ass for fucking being afraid or whatever down the line, you know? And you know what? We may not be in the same boat, whatever, but we're all on that fucking jet ski racing to the yacht.
Facts.
You know?
That's right. That's right.
I made that up. I like
that. Yo, is that
trademark?
Is that millionaire mentality? That's all it is.
What'd you call me?
That millionaire mentality, brother. You know, you riding jet skis, the yacht.
What did you call me?
Back here, you know what I'm saying? I'm towing my Ferrari on my fucking jet ski on my way to the fucking yacht because I gotta pick my fucking helicopter up to go get fucking hot dogs and fucking.
I thought you said minimum man. I'm like minimum. I'm only white on color. I'm part Latino where it counts. All right.
Ew. Oh.
That kind of party then, huh?
No, I see what you guys invited me to. Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
Oh, you have no idea, man. No idea.
What?
This has been a tame show so far.
I have no idea. Normally it's like
show is
dildos and ball gags.
Oh yeah.
And fuck yous.
Got the gimp outfits and everything, you know.
Yeah, it's pretty hardcore. Yeah, a lot of, you know.
Raw dog, man.
You know, I'm getting old in my old age. My sciatica. But no, like anytime you want to spitball, I'm here, baby. Just hit me up.
No, seriously. The minute we hang up, DM me your emails. I'm gonna shoot it off. I have it open. I just gotta drop some emails in there so you guys can see it. I really want an honest of the direction. This is a prelude. This is a very vague, but I just want the tone, the tonality of it, and you get a little taste of what the world is. I'm excited.
Gotta start somewhere. I'm glad that you broke the news here because I cannot wait.
I mean, I've been teasing it left and right, but this is the Prime Ape Chronicles is coming, baby.
Hell yeah! It sounds like a cool concept, man. It really does. I'm looking forward to reading that.
Oh, exciting times.
And I'm honored to have Alex bless me on the cover variant for Type 1.
I cannot motherfucking wait. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, that's one of those, like, you know, I told you this. I'm like, I'm dying to do a fucking variant cover.
Which is stupid that nobody's got to you prior. I'm like, are you guys idiots? Like, don't you see?
You know how many times I'm like, I don't care, don't pay me, I don't give a fuck. I just want to say I have that done. Like, it's a bucket list item. I told you that.
We'll make it happen. Believe me, I figured out how we can make it work, and for both of us on that aspect.
But perfect.
But we will chit the chat on that where nobody can see.
Yeah, but some people, they need to be patient on the fuck shit that we're working on. How about them apples? Like, just be patient. It's coming. Shit's coming. Promise.
Yeah, it's gonna be huge. Huge. Say that.
Huge.
It's gonna be ginormous.
Ginormous.
My wife tells me this is huge. I don't know. That was massive, I guess. He's like, what the Oh man, you guys are too fun, man. You guys are fucking too much fun. Honestly, I appreciate it. This was dope. These conversations are the ones that fucking get me going, man. So I appreciate it.
That was a pleasure having you.
Anytime you want to shoot on or come on or whatever.
Hey man, maybe we do a live session where we just fucking hash out some fucking Primate Chronicle shit. I'm just sorry, I don't know. We'll see what happens.
If that's what you want to do, we can definitely do that.
You know what I mean?
Me with a good time as always.
Yeah, absolutely.
Fuck yeah.
I'll bring the tequila.
Yeah, I'm a rum dude. So I'll take it.
I still gotta buy some of that homemade stuff that you make like during like Christmas time. Is it Christmas time?
Coquitos is shit, baby. Coquitos is shit. Yeah. You'll never be the same. I promise. Never be the
same. It can't do any worse than what I've done already. So
no. This is chill. This is fucking happy shit. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Get you partying, get you happy. That's all.
I'm all about that. I'm like a Jodeci video, so I'm all about that life.
Boom.
You're into Jodeci.
I love Jodeci. You can't fuck with Jodeci. I will tail it to the day I die.
It's all good, man. It's all good.
I'm not arguing with that. No arguing.
Alex, where can we find you on the interwebs?
Oh shit, dude, it's real simple. You've heard it all fucking the last 5 hours we've been on. Playful Gorilla. You can fucking Instagram, Facebook, fucking TikTok now. Shit, I'm on TikTok. Playful Gorilla. If you Google it, you'll see the stores pop up. I have a TeePublic, a Redbubble. I have a Store NV. I have a website, playfulgorilla.com. Everything's just tied together. So you drop that Playful Gorilla together, like in one word in Google, you'll see everything pop up. But follow me on Instagram. That's kind of the most busy I'm on. Like that's where most of the stuff comes on. I have a little speakeasy, like behind the scenes fan page on Facebook that leads to the Store NV sites. Like when I do drops, sometimes I'll do exclusive drops through the speakeasy. It's all it's there. You can't miss it. Playful Gorilla. Boom.
Heard it first. Joe, where can we find you?
Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, YouTube. Go to our YouTube channels. Subscribe, like it. Joe M. Sante.
Tinder, Grindr. Go ahead. Tell them.
Tinder, Grindr. All of the debauchery sites you can find me on. And if you look for this face, you're gonna see this fucking face. This is the moneymaker right here.
Look, we should be on coins.
I know.
Alex needs to make statues of us.
Holy shit! I can't.
Oh, there you go. The odd stuff statue collection.
I can't handle that much sexiness, guys. I apologize. It's too much. All right. I'll be blind by the time I'm done. I need to see. You know what I'm saying?
Sean, where can we find you?
There is.
Where can we find you?
Instagram, Sean Aaron. Facebook, Sean Aaron. Twitter, Sean Aaron.
So you mean to tell me it's Sean Aaron across the board?
All the way. All the way.
Easy peasy.
Easy. YouTube. Fridays, you can find me on Primetime Portland with Mark Portland, my best friend, on the Best Friend Show, where we just talk about nonsense with now Phil McNulty. And then Saturdays or Sundays, we do a show, Dudecast, about Michael Dudikoff, the actor from American Ninja, because he's like an American hero. And yeah, and you can find me.
Why is this the first time I hear it? Are you serious?
I swear to God, we got to record episode 2.
That's amazing.
So yeah, and Geeks at the Beach. Like, share, follow that page on Facebook, and we'll be bringing you more content soon.
Yes.
This coming Friday, we have Mark Poulton on the show.
Oh, right? Yes, my best friend. Mark Poulton will be here Friday night.
Nice.
Friday night on the Odd and Stuff Show, episode 7.
Shout
out
to Mark. That's the homie right there.
There you go. Yeah. So that'll be a fun show. Well, I'd say, everybody, thank you for tuning in. Anybody that's watching this on Facebook and YouTube, appreciate you being here. And this was a very fun conversation, and actually a really cool behind-the-scenes look into the creative aspect of many different platforms. So, Alex, Playful Gorilla, thank you so much for joining us. It was an honor and a pleasure to have you here. We'll do it again. Absolutely.
Sounds like a plan to me. Awesome.
John,
appreciate it.
All right. Hey, stick around real quick or I'm going to end the broadcast, but stick around real quick. Don't go anywhere. So, all right, everybody, have a great Saturday. Be safe out there. Don't do anything stupid. And I love everybody.
I love everybody too, baby.
Peace.
It's a long one.